All right, good morning, trader. Thank you so much for tuning in to the morning brief. My name is Corey, and let's take a look at what's gone on in the overnight session here. Sorry, I was a little bit out of sorts. I got on early on TikTok to call out a Bitcoin setup. We'll take a look at that here in just a second, but Bitcoin sold off to about 50K and was putting in a really nice V bottom. So I thought that it would be advantageous for anybody that was looking for a good entry point long on that. And anyways, let's take a look at the overnight session here so you can see that we had a lot of consolidation all through the Asian session and through the majority of the London session, and then we've got a decent spike coming in. So we are out of balance now. We are soon to be likely gapping down. So ultimately my bias is short, and I'm looking for a continuation to the downside. This is going to be, is based on what I'm seeing right here. It looks like it's going to be a relatively small gap. Let me make this a little bit bigger for you guys. Bear with me. So based on what I'm seeing here, it's a relatively small gap, and in my experience, small gaps, they like to fill and then continue in the original direction. And then also we have this big spike here, which is yet to be confirmed. So in any event, what I am looking for is for a likely gap fill, and then for us to continue lower. So that does two things. A, it fills the gap, so it's going to be repairing this poor structure, because of course, this is the regular trading hours. And this is where we're trading, so if we open right here, you're going to have a gap down of that much. So what the market will do, it'll come back in, fill the gap, and then we continue lower. I know futures are a little bit weird because it trades 23 hours a day, unlike stocks, but that is something that is very frequently looked at, is the gap between the two regular trading hour sessions. So okay, in any event, let's take a look back at Bitcoin here. Oops. So like I said, originally I called this thing out because of this V bottom. So we put in like 150% retracement, something like that, and we're currently just kind of chopping sideways. So I would consider this, we got a little bit of a downward sloping trend line, so it's kind of a symmetrical triangle to a degree, but it looks like a continuation pattern to me, so I still think it's a great long entry, excuse me, and I'd be looking for a break to the upside from here. And there's a lot of headroom. This thing could go quite a ways. So riding it, from 51 to 53K, it's certainly not a bad deal. All right. So sorry I haven't been paying super close attention to the chat. I hope I haven't missed too much. Anyways, man, it's still early. All right. Well, if you guys have any equities that you would like us to take a look at, please don't be shy. Throw them in the chat so we can break it all down together. I know Riot Blockchain, understandably, dropped pretty substantially in pre-market. You can see that it closed at $45 yesterday, and it's currently trading at $39.19 in pre. My list, where do I post my list and my bias? So I don't typically post my list every morning. If that's something that you guys would be interested in, I'm more than happy to post it on Twitter. My Twitter channel is a dead zone. I have not been active on there, but I've been thinking more about doing intraday updates. Like, this is what I'm seeing in the price action on the S&P, etc., and just doing call outs. So if that's something you guys are interested in, let me know in the chat, and I can work on posting my bias, my analysis, that kind of stuff on Twitter every morning. In any event, on Riot here, if Bitcoin is able to bounce with strength, it could be a pretty decent Like, you might get some responsive buyers in here that might come in and try to drive this thing back up again. So it just kind of depends on what the underlying what Bitcoin does. Let me switch to a higher time frame. Sorry guys, I did not realize I was still on the 1 minute. So this is what Riot looks like on the 1 hour here. Sweet. Okay, yeah. I mean, I'd be more than happy to post that kind of stuff. No, if you are gonna follow me on Twitter, guys, my username is missing. So it's here. I'll just show you. That's my username, JRNLS. So it's missing the A in journals because Twitter wouldn't let me have that many characters. Anyways, so yeah, I will work on. I'll post my notes that I take every morning before the morning brief. I'll post that on Twitter daily. Sorry, I'm trying to get you guys in my phone stand here. There we go. I'll post that stuff daily. And expect some intraday updates as well. I'll be breaking down the price action. You know, after the open, a lot can change. So I will, like I said, I'll share what my thought process is there. Anyways, this I mean, we are approaching a demand zone here on Riot. We have a you can see this V bottom that we put in from before, but there's a key level running right through here around 44 bucks. So I think this is actually, I mean, if Bitcoin can bounce, I think this is a really great long entry potentially. Like I said, you've got a ton of headroom. Bitcoin, that $50,000 mark that it so closely approached just a little while ago, is definitely a big psychological number. So yeah, like I said, if people are responsive to lower prices here on Riot, oh no, sorry, we're right here. This is where we're at in pre-market. So if people are responsive to these lower prices on Riot, they may come in, fill the gap, and then we might get continuation higher. So it really just depends, but this might be a decent long entry. Just make sure you don't put your stop any lower than this pivot low. If you do, you're asking for trouble. As for your question about pass notes, if you want pass notes, I would be more than happy to like email you some copies. I only have, God, actually, if I go back in my, I could probably go pretty far back, but in any event. So yeah, if you want pass notes, let me know. I'm more than happy to email you a copy of my old notes. So, and I do I have used Bookmap in the past, but I canceled it just because I was trying to cut some costs down. So I think Bookmap is a phenomenal platform, and my good friend here, Jamal, he uses it, and he also uses the Stop Iceberg indicator, which he said good things about. So I think Bookmap is a phenomenal platform. But yeah. Okay. Yeah, note that the morning prep worksheet that I have on the tradejournals.us is a little bit, I mean, it's not the one that I'm currently using, but I can post the one that I'm currently using, of course, on there as well, and that way you guys can have access to it. So oh, Jesus, what a nice guy. All right. Send me a DM, I guess. All right. Cool. So let's find some setups for you guys. I wanna make you guys some money here today. So GameStop sold off really big yesterday. I guess the question in my mind is this short going to continue? You can see I'm gonna take this fisheye off. Sorry guys. I want you guys to be able to see the details here. Okay, so you can see the huge gap down that we put in yesterday. Bam. And This is really what I've been expecting all along to happen. I really the people that were asking about GameStop after it had spiked up above 300. I was really trying to shy people away from it. I mean, just look at the volume differential. Look at the volume there, and then look at the volume here. It's night and day. Sorry, the chat might be covering it, but look at the volume there. Look at the volume there. Night and day. So, and it's just like auction theory, you know. Yesterday we were talking about when you've got people bidding for a piece of art or something, you're gonna have a lot of bidders at low prices, and as you get higher, you're gonna have fewer and fewer bidders. And volume is kind of the way that we can measure where we're at on this triangle. If volume is very low, prices are going to need to auction to the prices will need to advertise either higher or lower wherever it can bring in more business. So this is like where you get exhaustion, right? So like I said, if volume is very low, it's gonna have to prices are gonna have to change so more people can start engaging. Anyways, as per my bias here, we have a definite support zone here at 122, and another down here. So these would really be my targets. We're up about $2 in pre-market. To be honest, I don't think this is a great setup. I don't know if this thing is going to V-bottom or if we're going to blast through. But in my opinion, it's a little bit extended. And I just, I mean, to be honest, I don't know. It might need to retrace and for people to balance their inventories before we can get continuation lower. Again, guys, if you have stock ideas that you would like me to take a look at, please throw it in the chat and we can break it down together. Again, don't be shy. The more questions get asked, the more we can all learn. Let's take a look at, let's see what Palantir is doing here. Largely bearish, and it's gapping down in pre-market. So this is Palantir. Let me write that down. Jamal, is that even a real ticker? If that's not a real ticker, I'm going to be really pissed. I'll write it down nonetheless. QXDL. All right, so this is Palantir, PLTR. That's what we're looking at right now. And you can see that we have a major support zone right here. This is where we V-bottomed from before. And we are gapping down just a little bit. So we're testing this. How's the volume doing for Bitcoin? And let me write down SQ as well. I didn't get a chance to look at volume, but on BTC, it looked like it was putting in a pretty nice V bottom right above the $50,000 level. So yeah, it might be a decent long entry on that. Anyways, as we test this key level right here, guys, I mean, the market is only going to do one of two things. Either it's going to put in another V bottom, and we're going to get a higher low, and we're going to get continuation higher, or we're going to blast through. We're going to stop out everybody that got long up in this area and get continuation lower. I mean, that's really where my money is at, is to see continuation here. I mean, we're right at this support zone, so it really does not take a ton of effort to run all these stops. So again, this is Palantir, PLTR, and looking for a breakout short here. Just keep a tight stop, you know, because if it backs up on you, you're gonna know if you're wrong very quickly. Like if it fills the gap, if it goes beyond this gap level right here, you can see this is where we're at in pre. This is the gap level. If it starts trading back up into the gap, just get out immediately, you know. Okay, so let's look at Jamal's likely fake ticker, QXDL. Yep, I knew it was a fake ticker. You're an ass. All right, we're looking at SQ or Square Inc. And we are gapping down in pre-market here, so you can see this is where we are opening. Oops, sorry, let me move my stinking phone here. All right, so that's where we're opening at in pre. And shrink this up just a smidge. All right, so the one thing you want to take into note about gaps is gaps are always new business, right? And ultimately, we want to be trading with new business, not old business. You can imagine, if you have a big trend or something like this, and then you have a little bit of a move like that, like, is it better to engage here, or is it better to engage here? That arrow did not work. Screw it. And the answer is definitively down here, right? And the reason why is because if you're engaging up at the top, like, do you guys think these are new shorts coming in? Like lots of eager new shorts? Or do you think it's these guys that are wrapping up their positions? Answer in the chat. There's a little bit of lag, so just going to take a hit off my vape a bit here. So, exactly. This is old business, right? It's likely these longs just wrapping up their positions. Gaps, however, are always new business. It's at no point is a gap going to be guys wrapping up from the day prior or something like that, or at least it's highly unlikely. So, anyways, it's good to trade with gaps. That's the point, because gaps are always going to be new business, and we like to trade with new business because that's when interesting things happen. So, anyways. We're approaching this major demand zone right here, so it really depends. I mean, this setup, to be honest, is almost identical to Palantir. If it V-bottoms, fills the gap, and then we start trading back up inside of this range, I think it'd be a great long entry. But, momentum is bearish, and we just need to see what's going to happen when we test this demand zone from right here. So I don't know what Square is going to do yet. It could go either way still, but if you're short, you want to see this gap level hold. It's okay if it comes up and fills this gap, but it needs to hold. If it starts trading back up inside of that area, then I would recommend getting out quickly. So that is my bias for Square. It also just ticked down a smidge while we were watching it here. And note, you have this $200 level, the psychological number. So you'll want to, if it can break below 200, it'll probably continue lower, I would imagine. All right, guys. Again, if you have any stocks you want me to check, please throw it in the chat. That way you can help your brothers and sisters learn. I'm going to just kind of cruise through and start looking for some setups here. This is MasterCard, ticker MA. And it's mostly just consolidating here. CL, okay. Yeah, we're going to take a look at the oil futures here. And then we'll look at SLV. So I'm just writing that down really fast. SLV. Okay. So, ooh, very interesting. Okay. I like looking at this kind of stuff. I love the futures price action. It's so much cleaner. I'm sorry, but it's just so much cleaner than stock price action. Just, I would imagine, because the volume differential. Okay, so this is ticker symbol CL. These are the oil futures. So it's not a stock, it's a futures contract on oil. But you can look at what futures are doing in order to trade stuff like drip or whatever the long oil leveraged ETF is. So, anyways, we are in. This is a really interesting setup because we have a false breakout right here, but we still are kind of holding this descending triangle formation. So, because of the aggressive long activity down in this area, generally I would expect us to bounce right here, retest the trend line, and then give us a breakout. The only reason I am more long than more bullish than bearish on this is because of this strength. Like it takes some very aggressive buying to create a spike like that. And I would imagine that the same people that created this spike are going to defend their positions. So therefore, this level is likely to hold, and that's why I'm bullish. You know what I mean? And then if we can break above that level, you can see we have a very big low volume node right here. Let me erase the arrow. So I always look on the volume profile for stuff like this, low volume nodes. And I've heard me say this before, but a low volume node is like the skin of a balloon. The surface, or the low volume node itself is going to provide support and resistance, but once it breaks, it trades through very quickly. So high volume nodes you can think of like traffic jams. Low volume nodes you can think of like freeways. So case in point, if we can get into this area, it's gonna probably rush all the way through it and trade all the way up to like 64, 65 bucks. So anyways, knowing what's going on in the oil futures, you could go over to the stock side and jump on one of those leveraged ETFs. Thank you, bud. You made my morning. I love sharing. Anyways, so you could come over here and look at one of the leveraged stock ETFs. Somebody throw in the chat what the ticker symbol is for the 3X oil ETF. I can't remember off the top of my head. This is for the long side, not the short side. I know the short side is DRIP, DRIP, but I can't remember what the long side is. UWT. Oh yeah, UWT got they took it off. UWT is no longer a thing. When oil went negative, they got rid of it. So I don't know if there is a 3X oil ETF right now. Yeah, yeah. WTI. That looks like a futures ticker. There's like U.S. oil. Oh, that's the CFD. Never mind. I'm just gonna type in oil, crude oil. All right. Well, if you guys know a good, leveraged ETF for oil to the long side, throw it in the chat so you can help your homies out. Okay. Well, we got 4 minutes till the open here. Sorry, this morning was so disorganized. I promise it won't be like this tomorrow. In any event, yes, we're gonna look at SLV, then we're gonna wrap it up here. Sorry, I almost forgot. Whoa, Gap City. Holy crap. All right. Silver is just, man, this thing is just gapping all over the place. You can see our first gap here, second gap here, and then we're gapping down in pre-market right now. So, yeah, this thing is very bearish. It might come back up and retest that level and then continue lower. I don't know, but yeah, ultimately, yeah, this is the short side is the right side. Let me look at a higher time frame though, really fast, just so we can see what targets we have. So, okay, this I really, really, really like. We are right at a very big line in the sand. So you can see there's a lot of volume, very clear range differential. So like up here is one big range, and then everything prior is another big range. And we're right at the line in the sand between the two, basically. So if we can break through this level, the likelihood of us continuing lower is pretty high. So note that I'm gonna move the chart a little bit here. So note that we have an unfilled gap right here. So that would be an ideal target, is to look for that gap fill at 21 bucks. So if you're looking for the breakdown, share your Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Yeah. On Instagram, it's just at the Trade Journals, and on YouTube, it's you just search for the Trade Journals. Simply put. Note that the morning brief is on YouTube as well every morning. So you don't necessarily have to watch me on TikTok if you want to be able to see the full screen and all the details, etc. Find me on YouTube because, like I said, we are live there as well. And then Twitter, it is at the Trade JRNLS. So, like I said, I will be trying to post. Let me zoom in here. So that is my Twitter. That was SLV. So sorry. Where was I? All right. This is SLV right here. So like I said, I am largely bearish on this. So like I said, if we can get a breakdown below, what are we at? Right. If we can get below, I mean, we're below $23, and that's a major demand zone. So yeah, I think this short here from 23 all the way to get the gap fill down here at 21 is a solid play. Oh, and then before this, it was CL oil futures. So, anyways, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up here. We have 1 minute till the open. I'm really sorry for running over so late this morning, but I gotta get out of here. Good luck today. Again, my bias on the S&P is short today. We are gapping down, and 9 out of 10 times I am trading in the direction of the gap. So, good luck today. Watch your risk, and hey, look for my intraday updates today on Twitter. So, I have 0 followers up there, so I would really appreciate the support. Anyways, thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.